Well, October is just a couple of weeks away, and Halloween won't be too long after that. More importantly, this year's Scream Fortress is almost upon us, and in the spirit of both Halloween and really wanting a new warpaint case this year, I've created some Halloween themed warpaint proposals for fun, so I wanted to make this video to show you guys what I've been cooking up this past month. For the warpaints themselves, 2 of them are revamps of warpaints I created last year, and 2 of them are new concepts I've come up with. Let me know in the comments if you have any pieces of constructive criticism for the warpaints I'm showing off here today, and also let me know if you have any ideas for other Halloween themed warpaints, or just for warpaints in general. Anyway, let's get on with the showcase. The first warpaint I want to show off today is what I call Hour-Handed. It's a clock and time themed warpaint with a dated metal primary texture, an off-gold secondary pattern, and an ancient wood tertiary texture. The primary texture also has a gold clock hand embellishment to further get that time theme in the warpaint. There's also a set of randomly generated sticker patterns on this warpaint, where each warpaint seed will randomly select 2 hour themed stickers ranging from 3, 6, 9, and 12, which all represent the major hours on a clock, and the occasional hour hand themed compass-esque sticker as well, showing that you might just be able to take control of the rest of the time you have left with this cursed object. The whole idea of this warpaint is that time may or may not be on your side, and with this almost cursed looking warpaint, you've got to fulfill your job as a mercenary before time runs out. I made this design with the idea that it could almost be something you may see at an antique store, but more importantly, it may be something you'd want to leave behind for someone else to purchase so that this cursed item is now their problem. I'm happy with how this one came out, especially with that subtle albedo glow from the hour hand pattern on the primary texture. More importantly, I feel like as a holiday, Halloween has an antique, creepy, and overall mysterious feeling to it. And with Hour-Handed, I feel like I captured that dark and spooky vibe pretty well with this warpaint. But let me know what you think. Up next, I'm taking it to a more subtle and simple direction with warpaint design. This is the Autumn Ornamented warpaint, featuring primary textures with cream spirit inspired 70s groovy patterns with a softwood secondary texture finish. Like some previous warpaints I've showcased in my last warpaint showcase, this warpaint also features exposed metal on every weapon thanks to the warpaint base I used. This allows for more of the base weapon models to show through against the textures I created. Anyway, the idea behind this warpaint was pretty simple. I thought it would suit the game best to make an autumn-themed warpaint that aligned with the style and time period of the game. The shades of red, orange, yellow, and brown in the primary textures, along with the wood used in the secondary texture, drive home that your gun has been decorated for the upcoming autumn season, and your choice of weaponry has been made festive just in time for Halloween. Autumn Ornamented is probably the most game-appropriate warpaint I've showcased today, since at its core, it's got game-fitting colors with the funky patterns seen quite often in 60s and 70s decor. Even though it's quite simple as a concept, it allows for wide loadout potential, since its subtle accents on your weapon can help add that extra bit of color to make your loadout pop. But even with this warpaint's simple nature, it can still help you get into the autumn and Halloween mood with its fall color palette. So if you're a fan of the Halloween season and warpaints that aren't too in your face, then this is the warpaint for you. The next warpaint I'm showing off today is Pumpkin Painted, boasting a hand-painted pumpkin primary pattern, a swampy green farmland-inspired secondary texture, and a dark brown root tertiary texture. It also has a custom wear to reveal a pumpkin skin just below the surface. This is another remake of a warpaint I made last year, but this time around I focused more on paint strokes and subtle texturing to make it look like one of the 9 mercs actually hand-painted this pattern on their weapon. Out of all the warpaints I'm showcasing today, this is definitely the most Halloween and autumn themed one, since, you know, it's literally a pumpkin. I don't think it can get much more festive than that. The goal with this warpaint was to make a weapon skin that feels right at home with TF2's older decorated skin collections, specifically the Harvest collection. In fact, this is essentially just a Mark II of the pumpkin patch skins. I really loved that collection, and since those skins are much harder to come by nowadays due to price and scarcity, I wanted to make a warpaint that harkens back to the Harvest collection but with a unique take on a pumpkin theme. So Pumpkin Painted is the perfect warpaint for those who really want to get in the autumn and Halloween spirit. I've saved what I think is the best for last when it comes to this warpaint showcase, so last and certainly not least, we have Reaper's Touch. This warpaint features team-colored cloth primary textures, a bone-themed secondary pattern, and a tertiary dark, charred wood pattern similar to that seen in a coffin. There's also a custom shiny metal wear, showing that the more your weapon wears down, the closer the Reaper's scythe draws near. Reaper's Touch was made with a simple idea in mind. In TF2, death comes knocking around every turn in your typical match, especially during Scream Fortress, thanks to spells and crit pumpkins and whatnot. When death is at your door, especially during this spooky season, mock death right in his big bony face by decorating your weapon in his likeness. You are the Grim Reaper for your enemies, and not the actual Grim Reaper, I guess. While this war paint may be heavily inspired by the Halloween season, I think it has general enough of a design to look nice year round, especially at factory new. The colors being muted really helps make this war paint subtly decorate your preferred weaponry in a way that really pops during Scream Fortress and nicely complements your loadout throughout the rest of the year. Personally, this is my favorite war paint of the 4 I've shown off today, which is partially why I saved it for last. So, if you're good enough at the game to become the enemy team's direct taxi to death's door, then Reaper's Touch might be a war paint right up your alley. And those were the war paints I've been working on recently, just in time for the Halloween season. I'll have the links to these war paints on the community workshop posted in the description of this video, so if you want to vote for them or possibly even see them added to the game this Scream Fortress, click those links and vote today. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to working on some more war paints, so I best get going. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.